Hmm. Huh? Hello? Hello? Are you there? Oh, of course you there. Yo, what's up? You tuned into another episode of Cannabis and Coffee with LaTosque. Yep, we got bucket hats. Dad hats coming soon too. So, check this out. Today, I'm sitting here in this cozy ass Black and Successful hoodie. And I'm sitting here about to talk to my man Garrett Schwartz, who is the co-founder and CEO of Resinate, which is a really dope company. And for those of you who know me, know I've been like go Captain Planet since I was a kid. And so when I saw this company and their message, it resonated with me. I got dad jokes all night, man. I've been getting high, and I got joints rolled. So let me go ahead and bring in the first guest of the night, and it's my man Garrett Schwartz. Garrett, welcome. How you doing, my guy?
I'm good. Life is good. I appreciate you having me on here, man.
Hey, man. Thank you for being you, man, and coming up with such dope shit, man. Like honestly, that's the reason why. Like I mean, not saying that like undope people can't be on the podcast, but that's the reason why I connected with you. And I was like, yo, we got to make this happen. I love your company vision and what you all got going on. And without me telling, can you go ahead and tell us what Resonate is and what you all stand for?
Absolutely. I had to put my hoodie on here while you were doing the intro because you mentioned your hoodie. Sometimes when someone mentions something and you're just like, "Ooh, why do I want that so much right now?" So
Yeah.
I had to put my hoodie on, get snuggly here. Yeah, I appreciate the intro and all the kind words. I'm Garrett Schwartz, and I co-founded a company called Resinate, hence the pun there. Um, let's see, that creates a way for these materials that were not getting recycled before to get recycled now and into the future. And specifically regarding the small recyclables, small plastic containers like the little pop tops and doob tubes that cannabis often comes in, and prescription containers, OTC containers, lots of those things are recyclable materials that can be reused. The value can be recaptured and kept, out of landfills or ecosystems, but the existing recycling infrastructure can't capture these small items. So that's the reason Resonate exists, and that's the kind of main problem we solve with what we do.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So you can recycle these?
For sure, definitely.
Gotcha.
Um,
I thought it was only the containers. So
oh, okay.
the little
Yeah, right
um
now,
the little eighth containers, what all are you all able to recycle?
yeah, no, good question. It's any cannabis plastics, or really any plastics that were that are smaller than 2.5 inches, or that are bags, or that were used um, with the cannabis, pharmaceutical, or OTC,
Okay.
like over the counter medications, like your
Hmm.
Advil bottles and things like that,
You can
would also
recycle
fall
those
through the
as well.
cracks of city systems. So we exist to capture that material too.
Pay up,
Um,
pay attention,
and the
folks.
the exit bags and all that stuff. If it's plastic and it came from the dispensary, bring it back to one of the dispensary locations and recycle it there.
And I noticed you're at, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you're at seven dispensary locations around the valley, or
Seven locations now.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we have
And
a few planned.
what is the like floor traffic? Do you normally see a lot of people recycling at those dispensaries? Do you get a lot of material from those locations?
Yeah, so on average, it's like a few people a day, sometimes more per location. So uh, then that increases, you know, some of these locations are fairly new. So
Hmm.
that increases over time. Once the program's been in there for a few months, it tends to be more. And then, like, just by weight, we take in an average of about 100 pounds per month per location of
Nice.
material. So that ends up being like about four um, recycling bins full per month or so.
Nice. That's a nice thing. And about how much of that material do are you all able to use and actually turn into your products to what you're doing, or the recycled material that you're selling to the dispensaries and stuff?
Well, the like with the products that we make out of recycled plastic,
Hmm.
um, it's, I would say, 30 to 50% of what we take in, because we recycle. So that's another thing about our company is, like, yes, we put out these energy pod recycling bins in
Hmm.
these locations, and we take that material in and sort it into different types or different colors and handle it from there. And with a lot of recycling companies, that means baling up one type of plastic into like a big, like pallet worth of material, a big
Hmm.
block, and then shipping that to somebody, often overseas, who would chop it up into little bits and then make pellets out of it, or make some kind of packaging out of it, or something of low value. Um, so we do with, I would say, 30 to 50% of the material, and that's kind of a guess on my part right now, because it fluctuates depending on what we're getting in and what we're producing out
Hmm.
with these different materials. But all of that
That's
is
still, I mean, that's
number
still a
five
good number.
plastic, and so that's the pop tops. That's the, like, the doob tube that you showed. That's the
Hmm.
type of plastic that we use. But there's a lot of, like,
And
you know, Mylar exit bags, the bags that they give you often coming out of the dispo. Um,
now
yeah.
I know you don't do glass, but you're
Mm.
able to do this top, right?
Yeah, if you put the lid in there, we can recycle that
Okay.
too.
All right. I'm just asking questions so everybody at home, when they see this, they can be like, yo, I need to start recycling this material. The way it's not ending up, in the landfill when it could be reused for other things. Speaking of using them for other things, I checked out the products that you have on your website. Now, is that all that you offer, or is that all that you have for like the general public as far
That's
as
all that
like the
we have.
products?
That's all that we have right now in, like, the products that we offer. We have one in development. It's the twisted tray. It's a like, it's a tray that helps you pack joints or pack cones, um,
Nice.
or tap your herb off into a bowl or into a blunt wrap. It just, it helps you kind of flow that material where you want it to go. Um, so
Mhm.
that's something we're excited about releasing and been working on getting out into the public for a while. Right now, we just have our machinist trying to cut out the design out of metal, so that we have a mold to produce that new thing. And
Nice.
that's
Definitely
the
excited to
goal,
see
is
that.
making. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the goal when you ask about products. Like, we're not exactly thrilled about the fact that we have two products which are based on the same pot. Uh,
I mean, but you
and
got you got hats, you got shirts on there, you got
we
stickers.
got some merch. You know, it's not
Yeah.
stuff that we produce, but we really like the creative side of thinking about what a cannabis user needs and wants. And,
Hmm.
you know, I don't smoke anymore, but I did smoke weed all day, every day, and there are thousands of
Yeah.
videos on the internet to prove it. But uh, you know, I had to give that up, but I spent so much time around it that it's intuitive to me,
Yeah.
um, what improvements there could be in different product grinders, rolling trays, pokers, different things could be better and more multitask type tools.
Now, I wanted to ask, are you able to elaborate more on that? You said you don't actually partake in cannabis anymore. Are you able to elaborate
Hmm.
more on why you are no longer medicating with cannabis?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open about that. I would say I'm still medicating with cannabis.
Okay,
It's just all edibles, really
okay.
exclusively RSO. I mean, if someone gives me gummies or something, like I typically won't say no, and I'll munch one every once in a while, but pretty much all RSO. And the reason is I was going through dental problems,
Hmm.
and everybody is affected differently by cannabis. And smoking, I think, is okay for most people, especially in moderation. Like anything, if you do it many times a day, from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, for several years, it's probably going to affect your health in some way. And so I guess I didn't have a great relationship with cannabis in a way, because I was abusing it in a way by just like smoking and using it more than I was able to appreciate.
Hmm.
And that has its negative effects. So for me, those negative effects came in the form of, like, I had a tooth that was going bad and they had to remove it. And then, like, they put a bone graft in and the bone graft failed just because my oral health was not good. And um,
Oh,
so, yeah, I mean, it
yeah.
just like came
That
a
would
time
make
where I,
you want
like,
to stop smoking.
yeah. And like I said, everybody is affected differently. So for me personally, smoking is apparently something that I need to avoid for that reason.
Now, when you talk about edibles,
Hmm.
what's your favorite kind of edible?
I like edibles that don't have a lot of sugar in them, because I've been kind of avoiding a lot of sugar in my life for a while. Getting all nerdy here, but um, yeah. So my favorite kind of edible is something made with RSO, that
Okay.
has something that can carry it and allow it to absorb. I'm not well versed in the science of how this works,
Hmm.
but I understand the uptake works differently if it's um, mixed into like a butter or oil, or like what is it, M- MCT oil,
Hmm.
or certain fats, that it can be mixed. RSO can be mixed with to give it different, longer lasting, better, smoother effects. And you can get more out of it that way. So my favorite is just butter, straight up, high quality butter that a friend of mine, she's the baked maker, uh, and so
Is
she
that the
she likes to.
Instagram handle?
I think that's her Instagram handle. Yeah,
I have to look
and
her up.
she was kind enough to make me some RSO butter so that I could try that method. And she's she made a video for me that I'm gonna edit and put out and use for myself to learn how to make it myself, and just get the RSO that I like from the store,
Yeah,
mix it into the butter at the right temperature, because you don't want to overheat RSO. It's kind of finicky that way, I guess.
yeah, and that's really that's the that's really damn. RSO is like really ideal. I was losing train of thought.
No
RSO is
worries.
really ideal because like when I normally infuse my coconut oil with some herb, I was doing the old methods, and you end up using a nice amount of flour depending on how potent you want it to be. But with RSO, you could go and you could use, obviously that one or two syringes depending on how potent you or big of a batch you're making. So
Hmm.
um, thank God for innovation.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Thank
mean
God for innovation, man.
the RSO that I like. I mean, is it okay if I name brands and things like that on here?
Yeah, man. This is your chance to speak, and obviously,
Well, they're
what
not a
company
sponsor or
you.
anything.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, they're not a sponsor or anything, but I'll just say like I like RSOs that are strain specific,
okay.
because that usually implies that they made the RSO in a quality way and not in
Yeah,
a
like in a
rushed way
curated
or
process.
reconstituted way. And the brand of RSO that I like is Drip, and it's just good quality, and it's strain specific. It's GMO, and I love GMO. It's
Mm,
always been one of my favorite strains since I first tried it. I like the weirdness of a strain that's like kind of savory and
yeah,
has the like
GMO is a solid strain.
beef gravy flavors almost.
Hmm. Yeah, I know exactly where you was. GMO. That
Yeah.
sounds. It's supposed to be it's supposed to stand for garlic, mushroom, onion, right? Or is that just like a
Uh,
myth?
that's like it's one of the things. It's I think it's one of the things we like to say,
Yeah,
and it kind of goes together. But
yeah.
I think it was called GMO for different reasons, and but just happens to like have those flavors, and it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me get back to my questions. I got a little off track. Um, if you had to start, let's see, where we gonna go? There we go. Do you have a business related book that inspired you?
Hmm. Um.
Or if it wasn't a business related book, if it was just like a book that inspired you that you'd like to share with the people.
Yeah. I mean, there's so like I would say a person that inspires me who's written a few books that I haven't read, but I consume his content in other ways. Um, so like just what comes to mind is Gary V inspires me in certain ways
Okay.
to think differently about what I'm putting out there, or to focus even just in business in general, not even around content, like focusing on the value of what you bring and what that means to others, and being able to appreciate that and be confident about what you bring to the table in terms of value. Um, I like that's an inspiring source. But then there's also a book that comes to mind called "All Marketers Are Liars,"
Hmm.
and it's like that's kind of a half truth. Um, People buy things for certain reasons that they tell themselves that are not
Yeah.
necessarily true. Like, I want these Nikes so that I can dunk on my friends. Like, I'm not dunking on anybody, but I do want the Nikes for that reason. Like,
Yeah.
and there's something about the stories or the energy that we give to the situation and the stories that we tell ourselves along the way that
Yeah.
makes us excited
It's
about trying something or buying something.
it is crazy. Like after working in marketing, like you see it and it's like, oh, the veil. And it's like a lot of people, like the average person wouldn't think about it. Um, but like when you look at all the tracking and stuff that happens online and everything, and so when you see these so specific ads, you wouldn't think that like, oh, this is just a coincidence, you know? Because most of the time it's not just a coincidence. It's like an algorithm. It's like this what you like, so I'm gonna show you
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. Yeah, Earl
And
Cup comes to mind, because the at Earl Cup they give out like so one company at Earl Cup who's
mhm,
a cannabis grower and processor wholesaler will spend like 20,000 or more on that 2 day event, just in
wow,
having a booth and giving out products. And this is just my estimate from a consumer standpoint. It's not
mhm,
like insider or anything, but I have worked at one of those booths, and I just tend to see like how much product they put out. Um, and the reason they do that is because every person who comes through there is either scanning a QR code and sending a quick text, or writing your name down in a form and your
Mm.
email address and all that. And all that tied to a good experience is really valuable for a business. If you give someone a good experience of like giving them pre-rolls and candy and dabbing them out,
Yeah.
and then you and then they hear from you like a month later about a new product or a deal on something they've already tried, and you've established a good relationship and a way to reconnect,
Right.
and that's why they spend that money you know
That's smart. It's definitely smart. It's the good old hook 'em and catch 'em.
And people
So
have a good time. People, if you don't mind spending a few minutes in line for these things, and if you don't mind getting those emails and texts, then it seems to be good for everybody.
I'm gonna have to check out one of those Earl Cups. It looked like it was lit on Instagram. This weekend was crazy. There was a lot of
People
good
come home with
shows
bags
going
of
on.
stuff.
I saw that Meta had a dope tent set up where they were talking about social equity and everything. And
Yeah.
you all had a tent, right, with High Grade,
Yeah,
or
Resonate was kind of tagging along with High Grade. High Grade was promoting Resonate and what we do,
that's nice.
and
Congrats
High
on
Grade
that.
was
Shout out to High
giving
Grade.
out. Yeah, definitely. High Grade's been a fantastic partner, um, getting recycling to happen at different events, cannabis events, and giving out vouchers and things like that for people who recycle.
Now, speaking of High Grade, this like has nothing to do with them, but this does have something to do with products that you all offer.
Hmm.
Now, you have the plant holder. I was wondering, had you all given any thought into making the molds for hydro grows?
For grows.
Yeah,
Mm.
for
Uh,
pods.
yeah, for like larger pots, and yeah, we have thought about that. Um, I would say
Like, is
not
that
not ex
something that's feasible at this rate, or do we need like a ramp up in recycling?
No, we could do it. It's not necessarily the material quantity, I think, that would be a problem. It's just the size of the machines. Different types of machines would be needed to produce a larger object.
Okay.
And so it's down the road that we're able to make larger things like that, but not at all out of the question.
Okay. So that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking about that, and I was like, you would think that dispensaries would be on the wave of hopping on, like, hey, if we could get this sustainable product right here that's recyclable, made from cannabis products, it probably help us save some costs in the long run. And not only that, but it'd be better for the community with us recycling and keeping that plastic out of, the bins.
Absolutely. I mean, these companies, dispensaries, and multi-state operators, and
And
these
even home
companies,
growers.
yeah. I'm like, yes, even home growers too, are increasingly have like goals and incentives with not creating as much waste and with reducing their carbon footprint, and um, so they have goals relating to those things, and if we could provide them a product that's made from recycled materials, that's made in a better way, that maybe lasts longer or has a cyclical nature to the product as a service,
Hmm.
and is also made from materials that that company or the retail side of that company is taking in and recycling. um, yeah, that's an entire closed loop within an industry, and
Yeah.
so that makes a big difference in that company's carbon footprint, kind of start to finish.
So, how did you raise funding and start Resonate? Did you all need to raise funding?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
We needed to be able to produce. Well, we needed to be able to make a couple of pieces of equipment, like a shredder, um,
I saw that
which
it
is
chop them up into like those very fine pieces.
yeah, it's like a big angry blender, like the size of a popcorn machine.
Okay.
um, and it chops up the plastic with its teeth. And then we have another machine that we've outfitted quite a bit and changed things about. But both of these machines were based on precious plastic designs.
Okay.
Precious Plastic is a nonprofit that kind of spreads around innovative ways of recycling on a small scale, um, and especially in like third world countries and places that have a lot of litter made from plastic. And so we ran with some of their designs and adapted them to our needs. And sorry, I got a cat over here.
Oh,
And
you're good.
um, and had those built. So we needed funds for those. We did a little bit of crowdfunding through Indiegogo, I think. We
Okay.
tried to do one round of crowdfunding a few years ago. That went okay. Um, and that's how we got initial funds to get things rolling, start
Nice.
experimenting. Yeah.
I'm glad y'all did, man. Like, look at you now. You all got a pretty up and coming, like thriving company, and it's gonna make a everlasting imprint on the planet. And hopefully more people catch on and join that project. It's there was a company I was checking out over in the UK. Um, they recycle bubble gum, like like, and they turn all of that into products.
Well,
And that's just strictly that. And they got programs where they go clean up the streets and sidewalks, and they have these pins and bells all over venues and stuff like that. And they just turn recycled bubble gum into Rubbermaid products. And I was like,
wow.
that's pretty dope. And I looked up, there's like no company over here that's doing that yet. So definitely will be looking to see if they're trying to franchise and bring something over here because I think that's a really dope idea. And especially if you'd be able to have those little those little pills that Ben use and stuff around the valley, you'd be able to collect a lot of gum pretty quick.
I
So
bet. Yeah, that's fascinating. How people can like just create a system for something that didn't exist and create the systems that need to process it after.
yeah,
It's just if it makes sense, it makes sense.
for real. And especially like, I mean, with every issue, there's a resolution, you know. So, um,
Yeah, the more we connect the dots, the better in the industry to create solutions where people didn't think there were solutions.
yeah.
And shout out to Dispo. They're a
Oh, shit.
packaging company,
Okay.
and we recently helped them recycle like 200,000 pop.
Hello? Uh-oh. We might have lost Garrett there. All right. We're going to see if we're going to get Garrett back. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to check out this video, and I'll be right back with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Hey, and it looks like we got Garrett back as well. Hold on, let me see if we can bring him in.
We're trying.
Hello?
Hey, you got me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, very
There
good.
we go. That
My phone just straight up
was
gave
a.
me the temperature thermometer thing on the screen that it was
Oh wow!
overheating. So, people who aren't from a hot part of the world might not know what that is, but if you're like in Phoenix in the summer
Yeah,
and you're driving with your phone up in the window, I don't know why it did it now. It was charging and had a couple programs running. Maybe that was why, but
it
I've never
happened
had to do that
out
except
here.
when I have my phone up in the window and I'm driving and not thinking about it.
It is a little strange though. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm hoping my phone's okay. Hoping it's not
for
dying
real.
on me.
Is that the iPhone? It died on him. Uh-oh, where'd that nose pad go? All right, so yes, ladies and gentlemen, I there we go. I think we got him back. Hello?
That's how, hey, what's happening?
Hey. Um, so I do have a question from a guest, aka said Spazin. He says, ask him, has he tried chip edibles? All right. Can you hear me? I think we lost his audio. We lost your audio. Can't hear you. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna try to get Garrett's audio working, and yeah. Um, what were we talking about? We were talking about recycling. If I see you in the chat, if you got any questions that you want to ask Garrett or myself, drop them in there. We're gonna get it posted on there. We're gonna answer your questions. Thank y'all for tuning into the stream. I know you see the merch. You can cop it at LaTosque.com. Cannabis and Coffee bucket hat. Got the Black and Successful hoodie. All right, let's see. Hello?
Hey,
There we go. We got it. We got the audio back.
all right, let's try this again. I don't know why it did what it did just now. Seemed like it was opening a
So,
new window for no good reason, but glad to be back.
so the question was, have you tried chip edibles?
Yeah, glad we got to see that question. No, I haven't. I'm not sure what that brand is or what they make. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, who are chip edibles? Says Spazin. Who are chip edibles? If you're still watching, let us know who chip edibles are. I mean, because unless he's talking about like potato chip edibles.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Have you
I
tried
figured that's
potato chip edibles?
no, I have not tried any chip form of edibles.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
I
have
know
you?
they're out there. I've seen them online,
Yeah.
but like I don't know if I trust them. Like edible flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah, I would think they're probably sprayed if you find those. Like not fully infused, but it's been like an isolate
Powdered
spray
on
on.
and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
but it could be, there could be one of these companies, like one of these companies or people who make good quality edibles, making something fancy and silly like that
Definitely.
and actually infusing it.
So I think you touched on it a little bit earlier. But besides the dental issues that you uh, experience, how has cannabis affected your life?
Hmm. It's affected my life mostly in positive ways. Um, it's been a way for me to alleviate pain because I have back pain for a couple different reasons, and it's been a way for me to alleviate that or distract myself from that in a way that I can focus on what's important
Mhm.
and I can still have good posture um, and not be constantly taking um, over-the-counter medications or ibuprofen and things like that
Okay.
to solve that issue. Um, and well, honestly, it's led to Resonate because part of the reason that I ended up looking at plastics in this industry is because I had a bunch of plastic of my own, pop tops and doob tubes and things in a dresser drawer, and I didn't want to throw those away for some weird reason. I just decided to save them up and figure out what to do with them later.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, mostly positive ways. It's gotten me to be able to focus on what I find important in life, and has ended up, whether you believe in fate or just making the most out of chance,
Mhm.
it's ended up leading me to some great relationships and to building this business too.
Nice. What's your favorite strain of cannabis?
It's probably GMO. That might be because it's what's on my mind right now, or because what I've been enjoying a lot lately. But yeah, I've never had GMO that I hated or that was like so different I didn't believe it was GMO. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you? I'm curious.
It's strawberry cough.
Strawberry cough? All right.
For the longest, it was Pineapple Express, and like when I first started smoking, um, I had this like craze for Blue Dream, and I was like, wait, I know there has to be more. Like there's definitely more, and I've I've had some strawberry cough that's been amazing. Um, I've had I've tried quite a bit of different cannabis strains, but none as flavorful as like that strawberry cough or what was it? I think it was called Forbidden Fruit. I think I tried
Okay.
that from Arizona Cannabis Society out in El Mirage.
Oh,
And
dang. Okay.
that's not like a sponsor or anything, but that flavor of weed, oh that oh
Mm-mm.
man, that flavor profile was so it tasted like I was smoking a bowl of fruity pebbles.
Oh well.
And yeah, so out here that was my favorite, but all time, it's definitely strawberry coffee. I like that. I'm definitely more hybrids and sativas.
Okay.
Uh,
I feel you. I like hybrids too.
what's your favorite cannabis event if you have one?
I don't think I have any favorites. I like just how much creativity and ambition I see happening with cannabis events. I like a lot of what Melt Lounge is doing with some different, usually smaller events, but
With who?
a lot of them. Melt Lounge,
Okay,
they're they're on the west side a bit, like West McDowell,
I'm gonna have to
59th
check them
59th
out.
Ave or so. Yeah, they're if you know Urban Legend Smoke Shop is connected to that.
Okay.
It's like in the same building. Um, yeah, I honestly don't go to a lot of cannabis events anymore unless I'm working at them, which
Yeah.
is usually Can of Friends, where I met you at Can of Friends is pretty cool,
Yeah.
because they do something different every time. And there's education that happens there, and it's not just vendors.
And it's a nice community that shows up at Can of Friends. I'm definitely gonna have to come back out there.
For sure. Yeah, they've been good to us too. They're good to the industry out here.
They are. Um, oh well, you already said your favorite way is consume is edibles. All right.
Oh, for
Here's
sure.
one. If you had 24 hours to spend with anyone, dead or alive, with a big smoke session, any question, everything is on the table. Who are you spending that time with?
Yeah, I mean that's one of those questions I feel like I should know the answer to. Um,
I mean, it's tough. How
but
about
yeah, I mean
because
one
you
answer is
instantly you
like,
say dead and then you could say alive. So we could break it up into two different ones. If you think
yeah,
anybody right now alive, 24 hours with, and you get a pound of your favorite RSO, and you get to go to work. What do you? Well, you're not gonna need a pound of RSO, obviously. but
yeah. No, I think one would be and if I were to be able to do this, I would smoke that day, I would make an exception and smoke with that person.
okay, so you get a pound of your
The
favorite weed strain, GMO.
Yeah. If it was dead, I would say actually my grandmother, because I would like to know what she was like when she was younger,
Mm.
like like before she was old and cranky. Um, I just would like to I would like to experience that. Um,
Okay.
and then
Cannabis do get people to open up.
yeah, definitely. And like I think you understand yourself in a different way when you get to know family members, and doesn't mean you have to like accept um or what do you call it, like really harbor what they are or what they've been or what their impact is on you. But like getting to know your family, especially ones who like you didn't get to know,
Yeah.
like hearing stories about family members, like stories can do that too. You don't necessarily have to go back in time and meet somebody who died, but
Right.
like stories can reconnect you when someone tells you about like what somebody was like and what they did. um, and then alive, okay, somebody who I would want to spend time with smoking who's alive, um, Jim Carrey, because
Mm.
he's an definitely inspiration of mine, and
Smooth.
someone I respect as a creator, and he's philosophical in his own weird way too. So I think that would be fun.
Yeah. Jim Carrey is a solid. I think you're the first person to say that. Out of all the people I've asked, I think you're the first person to say Jim Carrey. So you said there's tons of videos of you smoking weed online, and I just got a few more questions because this we're about to get into the rapid responses.
All right, let's do it.
But before we do that, there are tons of videos of you smoking weed online. Are any of them crazy? Or and if not, tell me your craziest smoking story.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are kind of crazy. I think a lot of them are intentionally crazy
Hmm.
because I enjoy surprising people and making people laugh. And so a lot of my videos would try to accomplish one of those goals. And
So tell me about your favorite. or your craziest video?
Um, See, they all sound stupid when I describe them out loud. But no,
Or
I
where
mean
can
one.
people find them
Yeah,
so
no,
they
don't
can
go look for them. They're
don't go
irrelevant.
look for them?
That's what's gonna make people go look for them. Dang, I shouldn't say that. But no, like one I made like a light up candy cane, like a hollow candy cane with lights that lit up and flashed and that smoked through. Um, I tried to do that with an Easter bunny, like earlier this year. I tried to
Okay,
make an Easter bunny into a pipe, but there were none
a
that
little
were had
little
the
flurry.
structural integrity necessary. So that didn't work out, but yeah.
Think that's something that you'd probably have to like stick a pipe through the bunny.
Yeah, you have to. I wanted to be able to smoke through the ear and put
Oh,
a joint. I want to be able to put a joint like right in his mouth so that he'd be
oh,
smoking the joint and have the
nice.
hollow go through, um, and just be able to fill up the whole inner cavity of the bunny with smoke and
With
then
smoke.
have a carb and pull it all out. Yeah,
Nice. Well,
and then eat the
yeah.
bunny with the resin on it after. Get some resin chocolate.
It's a resin chocolate.
Yeah.
All right. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, maybe we'll theorize around it sometime and figure out how to
Come
make
up
it
with a
happen.
nice recipe. You
Yeah.
what are your plans going forward in the next 10 years?
Next 10 years.
Yep.
Uh,
Where do you see
I,
Resonate in your brand, or what are you planning on retiring by then, or
uh, no, I don't think I want to retire almost ever. I think I'll always want to be working on something or a couple things. But Resonate, I see Brandon and I. Brandon is the other kind of major figure in Resonate,
Mhm.
who's helped build it. He's the other kind of co-owner and co-leader at Resinate.
Yeah.
So Brandon and I see us building that and growing as leaders of a business to be able to be more organized um, and think bigger moving forward, and growing to a regional program within the next 5 years, and then kind of
Okay.
thinking about different hub and spoke models after that. So I think as long as it continues to make sense, we'll keep expanding Resonate's recycling bins. We should have a few more at least going in within the next couple of months before the end of the year. And then, we don't want people to have to drive half an hour to
Yeah.
recycle. It starts to defeat the purpose because you're wasting resources to go save them.
Now,
So,
go ahead.
so
Well, I
Well,
was
there
going
just
to
needs
ask,
to be a
do
certain number of these as long as they make sense, as long as the businesses we're working with want them in place.
okay, and that's what I was going to ask. Do companies have to pay for these bins from you all, or is this something that you just they allow you to put it on their spot? You put it there and go collect.
They pay for it as a service. So
Okay.
dispensaries, we don't ask them to pay anything upfront for the recycling bin itself. That basically stays ours, whether it's co-branded or not, depending on the situation. And yeah, they have the service of that bin operating, of us collecting from it, and of us maintaining the recycle rewards program.
Okay. And are you only looking to stick with dispensaries, or are you looking to go to like smoke shops and, oh, excuse me, have your location at like the big smoke shops and stuff?
No, absolutely. The smoke shops could make sense. We've started talking to a couple, but not really tried to sell them anything yet or tried to get a bin in place really.
Mhm.
But smoke shops can definitely make sense. pharmacies and like health foods kinds of stores could
Yeah.
also make sense. Any of these places that just go through a ton of small packaging items.
Especially if you all could get a CVS or somewhere like that where a lot of people are constantly going and filling their prescriptions and stuff. That'd be
Yeah,
tremendous.
well, absolutely. One day that can make a lot of sense and make an impact that the cannabis industry is like quickly catching up with. Because like just as a random number, there are over 4 billion prescriptions filled in the US every year, which is like hundreds of truckloads.
That's
And
disgusting.
it,
That's so
it's a
four
it's a lot.
billion.
Yeah, I mean, some people are on 10 medications, and yeah,
That's wow. You gotta get that under control.
plants over
Um,
pills out here.
man, who are your role models?
Hmm. I think I touched on I think I touched on Gary Vee a little bit, just as like someone who does good, does well by doing good,
Mm,
like focuses on making the most for other people and himself out of a situation and seeing that harmony make sense. Um, that's probably the only one that comes to mind right now. I mean,
okay, and
I just like try to be better than I was yesterday. Um,
it's a good
Try to
motto.
learn from previous mistakes, um, more so than I try to learn from other people.
It's a good motto. What do you value most in a friendship?
Let's say honesty comes to mind first. Being able to be honest with each other about what we're thinking before it builds into assumptions or other thoughts, or being honest about mistakes that we make, um, being like human with each other, I think is most valuable to me.
Sure.
Yeah. Does that make
That's
sense?
yeah. No, I was trying to see how I was gonna segue to the next question with that because that definitely I'll go into the other question because
All right.
that actually makes me want to ask you what is your most treasured possession?
I I've thought about this before. Um, it's a clock. Um, it's like an old clock that was given to my grandmother
Mhm.
when she retired from Honeywell. She worked for Honeywell for a number of years, and it's this wooden clock with like a gold colored face. It says Honeywell on it, and it has
Yeah.
this little airplane, and this airplane just kind of floats around as it's going around the
Oh,
clock.
on the dial.
And it's like silent and it's electric, and it's just like a really peaceful thing that I remember sitting on top of the TV when I was a kid. And when she passed away, I was helping to organize things and stuff and get rid of a lot of stuff. And we each, like grandkids, got to keep a couple things, and I got to keep that, and I was like oddly excited about getting to keep that. And it's like the thing I never let ashes get on when I was smoking,
Yeah.
and like I never put anything on top of it. It's just like a become a sacred object in a way. Although I try to avoid valuing things.
like avoid valuing like material things.
Yeah, yeah. Like in a way, the one of the most valuable things in my life is my phone because it connects me to everyone and it allows me to interact with all the technology, all the other technology that I need to. Um, so that's pretty important, but not the question.
What motivates you to work?
I'm gonna plug my phone in real quick just because I know it's a little low on battery. Hopefully it
Oh,
doesn't
you're all
overheat again.
good.
What motivates me to work? Um, the idea, just like the kind of what if, like another person who inspires me is David Goggins, and he's a fairly prominent figure if you were to Google him. But just like the idea,
David
if you were,
Goggins.
yeah, um, if you listen to his Joe Rogan podcast, that's an intense conversation and a good one. Um,
Okay.
that
Adding
that
that to
Joe
the
Rogan
list.
podcast, listening to that like 3 to 4 hour or 5 or however much was podcast, got me
David
through a bad
Goggins.
trip because I was having a bad trip on a certain psychedelic one time,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason I was like in my room and just like freaking out about nothing, and I put on that podcast and I listened to this extremely intense conversation
Yeah.
about
And I see
all
this dude's
kinds
an
of
ex Navy
yeah.
SEAL. So I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure he's
he put
like real
himself through hell
intense.
just to be a yeah, he's for sure. Um, so shit. What was even the question? Why did I bring up David
You
Goggins?
were because you were talking about my bad. I definitely cut you off. You were
Are you good?
explaining how you were having a trip and you put on this podcast and David Goggins helped you get out of that.
Oh yeah, and it was what inspires me to work. Um,
Hmm.
the so David Goggins talked about just like the what if scenario in your mind of what if you did go that extra mile, or what if you did keep going toward and along with something that you believe in, whether that's building a company or creating some kind of art or going to um, achieve the level of where you want to be in an industry or in a field or help a certain number of people or solve a certain problem.
Hmm.
Um, just the vision of that thing being better and different, I think inspires me to keep going, and seeing that other people's perseverance have made amazing things happen and helped a lot of people before makes me think that I can do the same with more work.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I just got two more questions.
All right.
They're pretty good ones though, because I need to know from you if you weren't able to do anything related to the cannabis industry, anything related to recycling, like what's another passion or hobby that you have that you would have probably turned into your dream occupation?
Um, Comedy or music is one of those things. And I'm also not ruling that out from my future or even my present.
Okay.
Resonate's definitely my focus, but
So you're looking to
writing
get out
is
there and do some bits. Would you
yeah.
prefer comedy or music, or do you like do both?
I would do comedy because that's what I'd say I'm more passionate about. Is writing is where it comes into play, and
Hmm.
like being passionate about writing and being able to communicate through that and through honed in like careful writing or just self-expressive writing.
Hmm.
Um, whether it's like on stage doing stand up or writing for a show or something like that. I'm not sure yet.
Nice. Definitely
Yeah.
just learned something new about you. like writing
No, I
content.
mean, I see you, man. I see how many freaking links are in your link tree. And I'm excited about that, like
Yeah,
how much exploring you do of yourself and your passions, and
I
pushing
I
those
definitely
forward and not letting them stay in your head.
I definitely try to create when I can create. I definitely for me it's different because there's there's one stream of creativity that I can like always tap into, and then like other things I like have like crazy bursts of creativity consciousness, and it's like create this, and this is gonna do something really good. And
Good stuff,
but
man.
like when it comes to writing, as far as like writing anything, that's like one thing that I feel like at home about, and more in particular like music and everything like that. So it's great to be able to sit here and have a conversation and pick your brain and do things like this outside of music and outside of designing merch and cookbooks and stuff like that. So this is like having those different things is like a relief of you know pressure for anybody, like having different outlets. I definitely encourage anybody to try and explore many outlets. And if you're doing something that you love to do, try to find a way. I mean, like you don't have to, but find a way to monetize off of it. With the internet, there's thousands of ways to monetize off your hobbies and make a little quick cash on the side.
Yeah,
Um,
and the more that you like find a way to bring value to the person on the other end, I think the more that it doesn't matter when you aren't monetizing,
mhm.
because you get something out of that interaction, like out of sharing that experience with someone with your content.
That is
And
true.
then it also becomes more likely that you will monetize it because you're focusing on bringing the value and bringing the relationship.
Exactly. And that's definitely the main thing about the show, and spreading the word around the cannabis industry and bringing different people involved and different artists who I know partake or don't partake. I just like having a conversation, and cannabis and coffee just happen to be two things that I really enjoy. Um,
Good stuff.
I do need one last answer from you, and
What do
it
you got,
is: what's the best advice you've ever been given?
man? um, yeah, the best advice. I feel like that's, I don't know, kind of personal to a lot of people. What advice hits them or inspires them to be who they are. But I don't know, maybe that's it. Like being yourself, um, and um, not overvaluing comfort and safety, if that makes sense. So like we're comfortable and safe not telling someone what's on our mind,
Hmm.
because then we don't expose ourselves to the potential negative reaction or to a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of us are quiet for those reasons. Um, and I think it's just life is better and you get more out of it and you get more going toward what you want or figuring out what it is you want if you try to be comfortable with yourself and your surroundings and be yourself in those surroundings and deal with the growth that comes from that, whether it's uncomfortable or not.
well, That's a solid way for us to end this podcast. That
You got
was
some good questions.
You had some really great answers. This was a really good sit down, and that was a really great joint.
What are you smoking on tonight?
Ooh, this was.
So I'm not trying to steal your show or your outro with my
Oh, you're
questions, but I'm
good.
curious.
You're
I'm
good.
curious now.
Ah, man. Hold on. Oh, animal mints uh from Mint Dispensary,
Okay.
Tempe.
It's from the mint branded cannabis that they
The
have.
Mint. Yeah.
I like
Well,
animal
I don't
mints.
know if.
I like Kush mints. I like Kush mints
Mhm.
in anything, and the flavor and the kind of like coating in your mouth that it gives you when you smoke it.
I don't know if they were the grower of this, but that's where I picked it up from, the Mint Dispensary in Tempe. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, this was a pretty good strain. Gets the job done for sure. For sure.
All right.
Well, Garrett, I appreciate you hopping on and taking the time to talk with me, man. I can't wait to see what you and your company do and how you help continue push innovation in the industry when it comes to recycling, sustainability, and how you're going to help us save the planet. You know, everybody can do it. It just takes one brain. No, I'm just playing. That's the Captain Planet. But no, thank you, man, for what you do. Your brother, y'all got a great vision, and any way that I can help, I'd love to be a part of the movement and be able to push and continue to let people know that they could um, recycle at those locations. If you have a list, I mean, or do you know, like off the top of your head, like can you name them right now, or yeah, can you
Yeah.
let the people know real quick then? So let them
Yeah.
know
It's
where
at
they can
all.
go around the valley.
Absolutely. So you can recycle cannabis plastics and containers and get rewards uh, at any Oasis location, North Chandler, South Chandler, or Glendale, Marigold Dispensary up in North Phoenix, Soulflower in Sun City or Scottsdale, and Green Hills Patient Center up in Sholo, Arizona, up in the mountains there. And we're working on Phoenix and Tucson, like something more central Phoenix proper somewhere, and
Okay.
Tucson. But all the locations are also at resinate.tech, RESIN, like resin, ATE, .tech. Um, and you can find recycling spots there, and you know, also like learn more about why certain things aren't recyclable and things like that.
Right there. That's where y'all can find it. For those of you who are looking, resonate.tech.
Thank you
Well,
for having me
Garrett,
on here. I just want to say, like, I appreciate your openness to weird projects and conversations like Resonate, and appreciate your energy, like, out when I see you at events and stuff.
for sure, man, and I definitely appreciate you hopping on. It was a genuine connection, and like I said, our values align when it comes to wanting to leave the planet a better place than it was when we got here, and spreading that message that we can make a difference, even if it's just on like a micro level when it comes to a magnitude on the earth. We and everybody can make that difference. You have everybody has waste that can either be recycled or turned into compost. Um, and well, there are some things that end up going into the waste field because you can't recycle them, or it wouldn't be very feasible to turn it into compost. But we can make a bigger difference than what we are actually doing, and that's what I want to do. Want to help spread the word about great companies and great people, and continue to make dope things with them. So it was great sitting down and talking with you. I can't wait till the next time I see you, man. Tell your brother I said hello and thank you again for what he does. And I'll see y'all soon.
All right. Thank you. See you around, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was my man Garrett Schwartz. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Cannabis and Coffee. Now, I gotta tell y'all, I went to go see James Bond. Ah, man. This new movie is motherfucking gorgeous. Go see it. If you have not seen it, go see it. Of course, he falls in love and gets tricked by the girl again. It's James Bond. What else do we expect? I mean, like every single James Bond movie I've ever seen, this guy falls in love and she ends up being a pawn. And it's like, damn, how did he not see through this? But man, I love the James Bond films, man, and this was a great handoff to the next James Bond. Well, the next 007. And this young lady, I can't wait to see her first movie as the 007. That's going to be dope. Um, Also, be on the lookout because Friday I'll be doing the Stone Film Friday review of this week's release of Dune. Yep, Warner Bros. Then sent the tickets. Going to see the early screening of Dune. Recording the recording the review right after the screening, and we're gonna air it Friday at midnight when the movie drops HBO and worldwide in theaters. Make sure y'all go check it out in theaters. Go support the actors and everybody as everything's coming back out. As you know, we gotta get what we gotta get. Thank you again for tuning in. Once again, you can cop all this merch at LaTosque.com. I'm gonna be uploading some paintings and shit on the website. Probably start doing some digital shit. But we're gonna see. I'll holler at you soon. Until then,